Sorry. So back to what you were gonna go off onto before I brought up.
Foreplay.
Oh yes. Hello. My favorite. Honestly,
Yeah.
do you think? I feel like foreplay is more of an art than sex is.
Definitely. 100%.
I feel like it takes a lot more skill to please somebody with foreplay than it does with sex.
With sex.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, sex is great and all. Don't get me wrong. Sex is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's the stuff that happens prior to, which is the foreplay stuff, that gets you more in the mood. And so that's kind of what I was going to go into.
ahead.
So that's perfectly awesome. So
Perfect segue.
remember the first time that we tried to segue?
Yeah.
That was
That was when
was
we were
great.
more on like, we had like a schedule per episode, and I
Yeah.
didn't like that.
no.
Yeah.
Now we're just
We're
like,
more natty people.
sup? Here we
off
are.
the cuff.
Off the
What's
cuff.
up, motherfuckers? But with notes sometimes.
Sometimes. Every once in a while. Depending on how much we
So
care
we don't
about
get
the
too
thing.
far off track.
Yeah. Even
Yeah.
though we totally do.
Yes.
Okay, so foreplay, obviously, as we've been saying, is the stuff before the stuff. So it's
Great description.
right. What is the foreplay? It's the stuff before the stuff. You know.
Well, little Timmy.
So personally, I think it's very important to have foreplay because it helps with a lot of different things. So foreplay will help with lubricating. Obviously, getting certain areas nice and like literally warming up the area prior to stuff happening.
Penetration.
Yeah, exactly. In any which way. It also, I mean, not all women, not all men can just kind of get off on just sex itself. So I think the build up before the sex is really, really important because it gets you stimulated more. Like
Yeah, 100%.
your senses get stimulated more. Like your hearing, your like your taste.
Don't I know it?
So basically you're playing and kind of catering to all these different senses, and so you're really committing yourself to the act of whatever it is that you're doing in that moment. Like you're literally taking all the focus and just kind of concentrating it all on that one
It
thing.
should be all in that one thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You can tell some people don't give a fuck.
But that's why, like how you said, it's like an art in itself. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, if you're really committed to the foreplay and stuff, you're gonna make it fucking amazing. And both of you are
As
just gonna be like
everyone
very
should.
much into it. Yes.
Everybody should learn the art of foreplay,
yes.
because even if you're not into it, probably your partner is. Honestly, I've talked to a lot of people who don't give a fuck
Oh,
about
really?
it being done to them.
Huh. Interesting.
And I'm like, what?
but I wonder if it's because they haven't experienced it 100%.
I mean,
yet?
that's where my head goes.
Yeah.
But then I try to pull that back. I'm like, well, maybe they just don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I literally had like women tell me, they're like, no, I mean, like when you're trying to like seduce them and talk all sexy or whatever, whether it be over text or phone call or whatever, and they literally tell me like, oh no, I don't really like when guys come down on me. I'm like, excuse me?
What?
Huh?
Have you not
This is an issue.
experienced it in the proper way yet?
I've had girls stop me.
Damn.
Yeah, I hated it. Because then it's kind of like it blocks it like builds me up and
Yeah.
then blocks all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get all like psyched for it,
Yeah.
and then I don't get to do it, and then I'm built up in a bad way.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have a conversation with these ladies and be like,
Which one of you didn't allow him to eat your pussy,
and why?
and why?
Yeah, that's pretty sad. I don't know. I feel like, but I personally just love when someone goes down on me because I think it's fucking amazing. So that
if they're good at it.
is, yes, that could just be my own biased opinion, obviously.
Yeah.
And it is, but
That could be. Okay, it is mine.
but I feel like, I mean, I don't know, when people don't enjoy stuff like that, I wonder if something is up or if like
Yeah, and they
like if
you
there's
said,
some kind of block or something.
yeah, and like you said, they could have just never had it done, or they had a partner who didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So then they just like, now it's like in their
It's
head
kind of
that
like conditioned.
you're not supposed to do
Yeah.
it or whatever.
Exactly.
But if you allow yourself to get there
Mm-hmm.
and you have somebody who's good at it, your whole world changes sexually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And intimately as well, if it's like you're in a relationship with that person, because it's
Mhm.
also like a super intense way of connecting with that person.
It's very intimate.
It is
Very intimate.
not every point of it. There's nasty shit that's not intimate at all, but it is very connecting, and even just like the build up to the foreplay itself. Like you can still be in like seduction mode while being naked and with each other, you know?
Yeah.
And even like kissing is a big thing. A lot of people don't even think about is being foreplay, but that's a huge part of foreplay.
Yeah.
That's like, I think that's probably the most intimate and connected part of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to fucking devour each other, but but I think that's a huge missing part, and people will just go straight for like either sucking dick or eating pussy.
Yeah.
But like for me, it's a whole, like, it starts at one end and works down to the other end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you cover the whole body.
You like go through all the steps
Yeah.
and stuff. You're thorough. Yeah, no, I think, I agree. A lot of people don't consider kissing part of foreplay and stuff. But I think one of the things about foreplay that's really important too is that it creates like a, not only intimacy, obviously, between you guys, but also emotional, like an emotional bond type of intimacy. That's a little bit like, if you're in a relationship, can help a lot outside of sex as well. Like obviously the sex, it'll help out tremendously.
For sure.
But also outside of sex. I feel like when you have that connection with that person, again, you're basically committing yourself to that moment if you're doing it right. And so your partner, the person that's doing it with you, feels like their needs are being kind of satisfied and met and stuff, but also that they're acknowledging that their partner is willing to do this with them and take that time to be like there with them. So I think that'll help the bond of the relationship in general outside.
It kind of creates like a realm of safety.
Yes.
In a way.
Perfect.
You're like this is my safe place where I don't have to have any walls up and they can just have me. Mm-hmm. And you know everything's going to be okay.
Yes. Sorry,
that was the biggest beer gulp ever.
I didn't want to gulp into the mic. It was going to sound gross.
But yeah, for sure. Like I've definitely been with women who are like, they're very defensive people naturally. They have things in their life that they just have these. They've built these walls up for a reason.
Yeah.
No one just has walls to have walls, people. But then like when you make them, it's one thing to like tell them and you try to explain to them what you can do like intimately or sexually or whatever. But then if you start doing it, you can feel them, or I could feel them slowly just like release their body tension. Yeah. And then they just start reacting instead of thinking about it. And that's like the goal that I try to get anybody I'm with to do, is to just be in the moment instead of thinking about what you're going to do next or how you have to react or whatever like that. And that's the kind of like space I try to create during that whole foreplay thing, which then leads into amazing and sex that's just like natural. Yeah. And you guys are just like synced up, which is the whole point.
That's when you start seeing colors.
Red.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, that safe space is really important. Yeah. And if you can get there with your partner, or whoever you're deciding to have foreplay with, do the foreplay with, and then have sex. Yeah. The foreplay will make it a lot better. So just commit to it a little bit.